Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cinema Savvy News. It's myself, George, and I am joined not only by Chris, but we have a returning Tate. By returning, I swear he was on our Blade review yesterday, but I just can't remember last time we did the news with him. I may be wrong.
It was a reasonable amount of time ago.
Yes. To be fair, like it's pretty solid having a weekly show on a specific time slot because I've missed a load. I think Chris, have you done all of them, or have you missed one?
I think I've
You've
done
missed
all
a couple.
You've
missed one, I believe, because there was one where I did it with just George.
Yeah,
it's fun, but it's solid. But this week we have lots of news, including breaking news, which I'm going to talk about now, actually, because why the hell not? Yes, our reboot, our title Sonic, that's going to change later if you're watching it live. Our thumbnail is going to change to the glorious picture of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson because they have just confirmed that in 2019. I mean, we've got to get to Fast and Furious. We'll put it all at the top now. In 2019, The Rock and Jason Statham will star in a spin-off film to Fast and Furious. That might sound very random to you. If you watched 8, you know the best thing about them films was these two by Country Mile. These two genuinely had chemistry with each other. They didn't feel tired and old like most of the film, and it's potentially a great way for them to leave the franchise. Rumors circulated the last couple of years that Vin Diesel and The Rock had fell out. No one knew if The Rock was returning to Fast 9, given what had happened. Rumors that weren't confirmed that Vin Diesel fell out because The Rock was going to get the spin-off film, and apparently he didn't like that, given that he's a producer on the Fast films. Loads of backstage politics with all this. And we had news later on that Fast 9 had been pushed back to 2020, which has now become clear because The Rock and Statham have took the 2019 slot. Fast 9 will be in 2020, and they are in talks to get Justin Lin back. Who is he doing Aquaman, or is that James Wan? I always get mixed up.
That's James Wan. James Wan directed Fast 7. Justin Lin directed
did
Fast 3,
Star
4,
Trek Beyond.
5, and 6.
He did Star Trek.
And Star Trek Beyond.
So it's, I mean, at the end of the day, they haven't gone into bad projects, have they? They're Fast directors. But that's the Fast news. That spin-off's now been confirmed and greenlit. That's going to be great fun. I'm actually going to be well intrigued when these come out now because the Fast will make more money. But if The Rock's not in it, not as a fanboy, I believe they will legitimately make less money. And I think the Rock Statham one's going to have the potential to headline and eventually veer off into their own little, not franchise, but I could imagine the spin-off films being a thing as long as they've got the Rock or Statham in them.
Can we now say Fast and Furious cinematic universe with this spin-off? I mean, we're getting there now with stuff like this.
At least they did 8 films before starting rather than 0 like DC.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, one of the things I was going to say, I don't like the Fast and Furious franchise even slightly. I think it's mindless, stupid, god-awful acting and some cool-looking cars which is distracted underneath a terrible plot in almost every single film.
What was the last one you watched?
Overreaching and unrealistic.
Here's the thing. I will agree with all of those, but they're fucking brilliant.
What was the last one you watched?
I couldn't get through 5. 5 was terrible.
How many have you watched?
I've watched the first 5.
Precisely. You've missed the good ones, except 5.
The third one was the best one out of all of them.
No, I love Tokyo Drift.
Ooh,
I'm in a minority on that.
Here's the thing. Even though there's been 8 films, and even though it's dragging out, I do think, I don't even know whether this franchise needs saving or not, but it's definitely taken a small hit from the last film, not breaking as much as the Fast and Furious 7 made.
Still made $1.1 billion.
Made money,
without, yes, but you've got to take into the fact that it's because 7 was completely marketed around Paul Walker's death.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd have ended the franchise with 7. 8, at the end of the day, 8 had Charlie's they're on in.
8's my favourite. 8's my favourite one so far.
And
8 was a lot better than 8 was the best one since 5.
Yeah.
At this present moment in time, this is probably one of the most marketable films and one of the most franchisable films. A film where you can just go off in amazing different directions.
Yeah, they'll go to Asia, space.
Well, this is, I mean, with the personality of Statham and The Rock, without a doubt, like their sort of like duo cop kind of thing, their buddy thing in the latest one was one of the highlights of those films. Just seeing and I'm guessing loads was on the cutting room floor as well with the improv those two would have had. To see a movie with them together just all the way through, it's going to be like, for me, harkening back to like Lethal Weapon or The Nice Guys, what came out recently, a Tango and Cash, something like that.
You've gone and set the universe. Now go and expand it. That's usually the way things work. You're either going to end it, or you're just going to go out and spread its roots and see what comes up. You'll probably end up with a couple of origin stories of some of the characters who we haven't actually.
But do you need it though?
No, I legitimately think this is just because of how much fun The Rock and Statham had. Like, and also I think they're not stupid. They're looking ahead. They've got the most marketable man in film right now, and he basically saved these films. And they're at a stage now where I love the old cast, but it's a pretty big cast now. There's like what 8 or 9 of them, and you've got people in supporting roles and minor roles and stuff like that. And you know, I think this is naturally come. This isn't look forced. I literally feel like The Rock probably did a. Have you ever seen him on Instagram? He does like essays. I just imagine saying, "I had the funnest time with Jason Statham." Blah blah blah. Tomorrow we'll probably get an Instagram picture of him at a studio with another essay about how he's working like his 400th, 500th day in a row. But I don't feel that they're going to milk this franchise like to a degree that yes, they're making films, but I don't see 3 films a year. I don't see 2 films a year.
You don't think they're going to milk this franchise? Are you kidding me? Every single studio milks the franchises.
Yeah. No, I mean, they'll do a Rock and Statham spin-off, but at the minute, no one else in that cast would get a spin-off.
Honestly, think it will be a very different film as well. Like stylistic, like the comedy is going to be there. It's got the same screenwriter as well, Chris Morgan. He's done all the previous ones, I think, from 3 onwards. So it's going to have that same kind of feel. But I mean, in terms of the tone of the film, I think it's going to be very different because they will want to distance it. And you know, if the rumors are true with the whole Vin Diesel and The Rock set to, maybe this is going to be the stand-in for their characters. Maybe they won't feature in Fast 9, which I think would be a massive shame. But maybe this is kind of an appeasement film where you're going to get them all in one film, and then that'll explain their absence in Fast 9. I don't know.
I'm going to say that you're going to use this film as a very heavy tester film. I think
it'll be a
what's
test.
going to happen.
But
I think what's going to happen is they're just going to see how well it works. If it works as good as a normal franchise, they will wait till Ronda Rousey wins another UFC fight, which is probably never going to happen, and then she'll get a spin-off movie, and then they'll give Charlize Theron a spin-off.
She's already been in
they'll
it.
give. I know, but they'll give every single person, every single character.
They won't.
Its own little spin-off section.
The issue with this,
or something.
Charlize Theron's a villain. They've kept her for the next one to kill her. That's all. Luke Evans will probably come back, which I would be down for the Statham one with Helen Mirren. Yes, this franchise even has Helen Mirren in it now. And I feel that this is like just a naturally earned film, that there aren't any other marketable characters than these two. Like, no one would want to see a film of Roman because you kind of Roman. Everyone you kind of want about the other. But with The Rock, you can have Hobbs on his own, and they know that they've considered this for a long time. I think Statham just fast-tracked that with it straight away. Statham's interested enough to have a spin-off, but put them both together with what 8 did with them, and I think you're in. I'm in for it. I'm looking forward to that more than Fast 9. They were the best thing about Fast 8 by a million miles.
Okay, moving on to the next piece of news. We have the Men in Black spin-off, also known as Reboot, is being fast-tracked. It's now being released May 17th, 2019. That is the same date as John Wick 3, and apparently, I've heard rumors of this, but Will Smith will not be returning.
No, it's a reboot. They're calling it a spin-off, but it's a blatant reboot. They're not bringing back Will Smith or Tommy Lee Jones. They're not doing the jumpsuit crossover like everyone originally wanted.
He didn't go back to Independence Day, so I'm thinking the reason why he didn't go back to Independence Day was because of his son. He wants a contract with his son. Is the same thing happening here, or?
No, I literally think it's that A, they probably can't afford him. B, Sony's reboots haven't gone too well of late. You had Ghostbusters. Did they distribute Ghost in the Shell? There was one really recently, like the last couple of weeks as well, that's died. A Sony reboot. Oh, sorry. Flatliners is a Sony reboot. Yeah. Spider-Man films are a Sony reboot. Literally,
that's not a good record recently, is it?
Their reboots are awful, but they're the kings of doing quick reboots to get money, which doesn't earn money. So here's another one.
I'm wondering if this will be a thing. I mean, I don't know what the rights are for Men in Black. I know it's a comic book series originally. Is this another ploy to maintain the rights to it, or is this just another film they want to do?
When was the last Men in Black film?
2011.
Men in Black 3.
Yeah, Men in Black.
So I really like Men in Black 3, actually.
I like Men in Black. Yeah, I like Men in Black 3 as well. They incorporated into a time travel kind of loop type thing, and it made it a little bit more interesting.
We could kind of see,
like
though,
I
with
said,
Men in Black 3, like from an aesthetic, though, we know exactly what this spin-off's going to look like. This is going to be another Ghostbusters 2016. And I can imagine it now, how it's going to look.
I don't understand why Sony aren't doing this. They're thinking quick cash in the short term instead of thinking a lot of cash in the long term. Why don't you make Men in Black into a TV show? It's the perfect material to make into a TV show. You do a monster of the week. You do a monster of the week kind of thing, and you have like the memory wipe at the end of the episode or something like that. You can have a long flowing storyline throughout the entire thing of an overarching nemesis, and then have like an alien of the week that they have to track down, whether it's a kind alien or an evil alien or just an alien that's trying to get along. You could have that, and you can make a really
so repetitive
good long TV program with that.
Yeah, they did an animated series when I was younger.
I think they did an back in the 90s.
Do a live action series.
Do the Jump Street crossover. They've got Jonah Hill, you've got Channing Tatum. That's guaranteed money. The boys got sacked from Star Wars, so they're free to write it. Because for years they've said that they were planning it. Sony were looking into it. They wanted. Remember all the leaked emails when they got hacked? That was like their priority, was that. And they announced this reboot. I mean, it's questionable enough having a Jump Street crossover, but to outright reboot it is...
Okay, can I make an amendment to that? How about you have Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum as the two leads, but you don't have the crossover, you just have them star as the main two?
Why wouldn't it be a crossover? They peaked with their high school stuff. It's
that just shouldn't cross over. I'm actually fine.
Instead, look, they finished with their Jump Street campaign, and now they've been recruited by the Men in Black.
Precisely. It was just the same characters, but as Men in Black. That's literally what it was going to be.
I don't
know. They just put two names together to make money.
I don't like that. I'm actually fine with the Men in Black reboot because I think that although the chemistry between Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones was great in the first one, personally, I only like the first Men in Black film. I hated Men in Black 2. I think I only watched that once. I think that came out around 2000.
The only thing I remember about that film is Michael Jackson.
Yeah, same. Exactly the same. And I did watch 3. Didn't really care for that because I know that they took... Josh Brolin was great in it, but I know they took Tommy Lee Jones out of it fairly early on. I didn't really like that, but I'm fine with them rebooting it because the world of Men in Black itself is a really fascinating world. You've got all the gadgets, you can get really creative with the aliens, and at the heart of it, the dynamic is the two leads. So if they get a good pair with those, that's fair enough. But I know that comedy-wise, it's going to be like the juvenile fart jokes and everything that went along with it in the Ghostbusters 2016. It's going to be exactly that.
Is it going to be another?
It's going to be a dance number.
Yeah, there'll be so many dance numbers. Then they'll bring out an extended cut where they add even more in.
A women reboot? Is it one of them? Are people going to be
triggered? All female Men in Black.
I just had to think about that. You know what? It saves them adding a number. Women in Black.
It's Melissa McCarthy.
You've said that now. You've said that now. I can actually see them.
I can see Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig.
What's that?
Yeah.
And Paul Feig.
Melissa McCarthy starring the Men in Black.
And the villain's just going to be like... Oh, no, I almost said really...
No, the villain is just mad, full stop.
Right, should we move on? We've got a lot to get through.
Otherwise, we're going to offend him.
Yeah. Right, the next up, the weirdest news of the week, not so coming. Sonic the Hedgehog film is in the works. It's going to be produced by Tim Miller. It's going to be a mixture of live action, CGI. I don't really care about the Sonic films. I didn't think you make a film about some blue hedgehog running through rings to get to Dr. Eggman.
A mixture of live action and CGI.
So like Space Jam.
Horrible.
This is the first time
oh my God.
I heard they were doing a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I just naturally assumed animated CGI animation.
Yeah, animated would be great.
This is going to be fucking Smurfs.
Yeah, it's going to be like that, but you know, they didn't want him to have a proper role in Wreck-It Ralph. Oh yeah, instead we'll give him this. You know what they need? Vincent D'Onofrio as Dr. Eggman.
Yeah,
he just crushes Sonic like with a car door. Like
who are spiky hair in Hollywood? Who could play Sonic?
It's going to be like the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
This film just never needs to be made. Like Tim Miller, like why is suddenly he getting all these producing gigs? Like, well done, you made Deadpool, but that was more Ryan Reynolds than you. Ryan Reynolds even leaked footage to get that film greenlit, and now like Tim Miller's producing.
I'm not gonna lie, talking about Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds as Sonic.
Oh no!
Just him wearing a blue suit.
No, he's so tied to Deadpool now, and they're just They can't shake that image off. I'm actually fine with them doing a Sonic movie because there were actually 2 Sonic TV shows that came out in the 90s. The first one was god awful. The second one was actually really fucking good. And I know that they do it CGI animation now, but just seeing that world of Sonic, I loved playing the games when they originally came out on like the Sega Mega Drive. Played them again and again. They were some of my favorite games ever to come out. So I could imagine a film set in that world, and you could get really creative with the visuals. But having read this now, this is literally the first time I've seen that it's going to be a mixture of live action and CGI. I don't want this movie to be made. Either make it all animated or just don't make it at all.
It's going to be spine-tinglingly bad.
I'm not going to watch it. Here's a bet. This won't actually make it to the big screen.
That's a good shout. I reckon it'll be
like
straight.
an Emoji Movie. Just, I don't know.
Could you get Patrick Stewart as Sonic?
Oh shit, he wasn't.
Oh yes,
literally. Oh shit, yeah. I don't know with Sonic. Like, this is going to be yet another video game movie that sucks? Why do they keep fucking it up? It's not difficult. It's
who would
really
you
not
who would
difficult.
you cast if Sonic was a person? Who would you cast?
Usain Bolt. No, I'm joking. That's a terrible joke.
You can't have.
No, I wouldn't cast. I've never liked Sonic, even as a kid. Didn't like Sonic games.
I'd cast a young Brad Pitt.
A young Brad Pitt. Well, we don't have time travel, do we?
Just make him young.
He's got to be. What about Shia LaBeouf? That'd be fun. No, Shia LaBeouf as Dr. Eggman, and Jared Leto
He's
as
got
Sonic.
the beard. He could grow the beard.
Well, no,
out.
have Shia LaBeouf as like the Colonel from the Planet of the Apes movie, the recent one, just shaved head and everything like that, just like full on.
I think
war.
he'd do it. Jared Leto could play Sonic, get a method acting,
like Apocalypse
He can
Now.
just get to 100 miles an hour running in the street.
Or hopefully get hit by a car.
We need like Dr. Eggman needs to be like the most diabolical like monologuing, not even like PG friendly, just like Apocalypse Now kind of.
He needs to be so over the top
with his boldness appearing out the water and stuff like that.
Did you just want like a monologue at the end with Eggman going to Sonic like, "You're an errand boy sent by grocery clerks to collect the bill"?
Why do I recognise that quote from somewhere?
Apocalypse Now.
That's Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, we got weird with this one. We got really weird with this one.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's move on.
Speaking of shit films, sorry, universes. Christ Almighty, films, universes all the same. The Dark Universe is died after one film. This morning it was suddenly that the director who's going to do Bride of Frankenstein has come out and says they've told me this doesn't have to be linked to any other characters. This is going to be creating a singular character film. And then there was the rumors that the next film is going to focus on individual characters, not setups, and if it works, maybe something in the future, blah, blah, blah. And then this evening, I've come home from work and they've just pulled the plug on Bride of Frankenstein. At least, I mean, that's like one film and that cinematic universe has died. Like, that part of me feels sad. I'd like to have seen that.
Yeah,
George,
me too.
Do your thing, say the line.
No, because he can't say welcome. It's more like a goodbye, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because what you want? I've forgotten how to say it now. You put under pressure. It's like, welcome to a world of gods and monsters. And now I can just picture Russell Crowe at home, like tan and purple, just like punching the screen when he's in the news. And this is where I wish I could do a South Park voice, and I can do the I'm Russell Crowe and I love to fight. Yeah, I love Russell. I absolutely adore Russell Crowe. He even loved his South Park sketch. I think he went out and met the creators after. Like, I've got so much respect for that. But yeah, the Dark Universe. I don't think anyone cares. Like,
it's something I would have liked to have seen.
Maybe they will do individual films in the future still, but I honestly think The Mummy was the worst film they could have opened with, and especially like the tone of it. They made it too much like an action film. If they'd have gone all out horror with it, then it's a franchise I would have liked to have seen. Because usually I'm against reboots and stuff like that, but I think with the Universal monsters, you can just keep amending it. Well, it's been like 70 years since
they're trying to
trend thing.
All of the films started off as horror films. Then you kind of get a cheesy remake, like especially for The Mummy. And now you're going into a bland action film. So they're just kind of cutting across the genre. The next Mummy film will just be a straight-up love story.
Yeah, and it's one of those films where it didn't feel grounded enough to be its own thing because it was too caught up with trying to set up stuff for future films. Even to the point where their opening logo was Dark Universe. I was like, can you really do this with one film without seeing how it goes over first? Greenlighting all these movies.
They did that just to stick.
They even had Danny Elfman record that opening.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they tried to do a Marvel Studios, like not even DC was that stupid. Like it took them 3 films to get to that.
No, I'm straight up saying they did that just to stick it to DC.
Probably.
That's the only reason why they did it.
I'd have been looking forward to the Monsters team film more than Justice League. And I don't think I'm on my own in that. Like, I'm sorry if that breaks some people's hearts and tweet abuse at me, but
it's like Van Helsing's a great film. That's got Frankenstein, that's got Dracula, that's got werewolves, Mr. Hyde. It had everything. I love that film.
What film would you have opened with out of all of the films?
Dracula. I don't know. Frankenstein or Dracula. Maybe not Dracula, because we had Dracula Untold, didn't we, a few years ago?
The Mummy was far too. I mean, because it's been not even it's been successful. I think that's the keyword of the Mummy recently. The Brendan Fraser trilogy. If they can open the Mummy, they need to bring back Brendan Fraser and just bow out to set up a new universe. I don't know what they should start as, but they should have just done like not a Marvel, because I hate they should have just planned their individual films, had minor talk or crossover until almost the end, and then do it. Then you got to sit there thinking, well, what was the crossover film gonna be? Because they all thought, oh, it could be Van Helsing, but then apparently that wasn't going to be. But no, it's just I don't know. Like, I was looking forward to the universe, but now I'm not first. Like, I'd still like to send Javier Bardem as Frankenstein, and maybe we will in the future.
But would he have all been CGI'd up like Salazar from Pirates 5?
I mean, he looks a bit like a zombie anyway, doesn't he? So, like,
Javier Bardem just straight up. All I wanted to do is bring life into myself.
All I wanted to do is bring life into this universe. Open to new ideas. Sadly, it will never get made.
Okay, moving on to the next bit of news. Charlie's Angels is getting a reboot, possibly with Kristen Stewart and I can't say the name.
Lupita
Nyong'o, yes, they are in talks.
See, I've got a really big soft spot for the Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. I think that's what it's called.
That was the second one, wasn't it?
Yes, I haven't seen the first one, the second one. And it's a classic VHS film we had when we were younger. And all I can remember that film doing was, oh my God, look, that's the music my dad listens to. And then you grow up and realize that the Prodigy were all over Charlie's Angels, which was fucking amazing. And it had Shia LaBeouf in back when he was amazing, and even Stevens. And now they're rebooting it. And I mean, you know, why not get with the age? Let's have an all-male reboot of Charlie's Angels. Charlotte's. Oh, I don't really know what you can call it. Do you get male
Charlie's Angels still works.
Do you get male? Do you get male angels? I don't know.
Who do you have as the male angels? Just like
Ryan Gosling. It's got to be 3 people that can do action and laugh with each other, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling, Tom Hardy, and
no, not Tom Hardy. He's too serious.
Okay.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. No, but very well played. Paul Rudd, Ryan Gosling, and who would be the third one?
Chris Tucker.
Just stick in The Rock.
That's a good shout. Yeah, of course. And the thing is, you would actually pay to watch them 3 together in a film.
Yeah.
Do not deny it.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Doing like the splits and doing karate off motorbikes wearing high heels.
Kevin Hart can be Bobby, because Kevin Hart would just be amazing as Bobby.
Am I the only one looking forward to Jumanji 2?
Anyone? No, I am.
No, slightly. No, I'm intrigued by the way that they've changed the plot from the first film, and I want to see how it works.
For me, I haven't seen the original TV show Charlie's Angels. I haven't seen the rebooted ones. All I know is that, oh God, what's his name?
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray hated working with Lucy Liu. Said she was absolutely intolerable. He says he doesn't even know how she's an actress. She's abysmal.
Isn't she
that's
Sherlock
all I know
now?
about that film.
Isn't she Sherlock in the American version of Sherlock?
She's Watson.
Oh.
In Elementary. I don't even know if that show's still going. I watched the first episode.
What was it called?
It was
called Elementary.
Yeah.
Because we want to sound British.
Yeah. And the thing is, the BBC Sherlock show was popular in the US anyway, so I don't know why they needed to do an American version of it.
And the reality is that Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock was better than all of them, because at least he had 2 films. One was great, one was good, and like the TV show, which was great, shitter. That's how Sherlock's TV show's gone. Bring back Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, that's Charlie's Angels reboot. I think Elizabeth Banks is directing, because, you know, she's done Pitch Perfect, so why not stick her on the other women action franchise? I know.
So really, realistically, you're going to get Rebel Wilson, Anna Kendrick, and
I wouldn't mind Anna Kendrick.
Rebel
I
Wilson.
don't want Rebel Wilson unless they're just going to shoot her with an arrow.
They probably bring in what's her name? She's going to be in the new Bumblebee film, Edge of 17.
It's Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah.
Haley Steinfeld.
I hope not. We don't need another Charlie Angels reboot. You're not going to top the other three. Wow, I'm really. This is not how I'm supposed to say. It's going to talk about the childhood VHS films, but yeah. Should we move on?
Let's talk about Charlie himself and Hugh Hefner.
Yes.
He basically
everyone's favourite honker has been cast. Jared Leto is going to be starring in the Hugh Hefner biopic. Brett Ratner is directing. Is that legit? I thought you were just taking. You know how you throw your in jokes at that. Wow, that can't be right.
The best thing is if you do a bit of research. He says he's been working this film for months, but now he's died. He's only just decided to tell everyone he's making it. And,
see, I was thinking like this was going to go for Oscars with Jared Leto. Was going to go for like best lead performance.
No, I think
something like that.
Brett Ratner's come out and said that Hugh Hefner tried to change America for the good.
Thoughts on Hugh Hefner aside, you've got Brett Ratner directing. This isn't getting anything Academy Awards. This isn't even.
It's his production company as well. Like
I'm not gonna lie, it's got the best title at the moment: Untitled Hugh Hefner biopic.
All I'm thinking of, I said the same thing to you guys, is Jared Leto's method acting before they start filming. Like he's going to absolutely love it. Like if he's willing to go blind,
anyway.
If he's willing to go blind,
imagine the pranks he'll pull on set.
What if he's filming like the Joker at the same time as Hugh Hefner? Is he gonna rock up to the Playboy Mansion with like a knife or something? I mean,
I could imagine the Joker wearing that smoking jacket. Like I could imagine that.
The thing is, I will. What Jared Leto's at the stage now, where yes, he's an Oscar winner, but he's become a meme. But he's attracting me to these projects because he is a meme now. He is literally. Is
he going for the EGOT or is he stopping at the just the two? Because he's got a Grammy, hasn't he?
He's won an Oscar.
He's won an Oscar. He's won a Grammy.
He's won a Grammy.
Wasn't that shit band Bernie? 30 Seconds to Mars.
30 Seconds to Mars. Thing is, I'll speak as a fight.
He got beat up in Fight Club.
I liked Jared Leto in American Psycho. He played Paul Allen in that film. I thought he was decent. I haven't seen Dallas Buyers Club. I think that's where he won the Oscar. I've heard he's great in that. Haven't seen that movie. And I can't give anything away, but I saw Blade Runner 2049 today, and he is really good in it. But it's just the Joker, and that's become the everlasting meme for me now, is him as the Joker.
I think the problem with him is that there's method acting, but he's the most vocal method actor he's ever had.
He's a complete dick in real life.
He's like one of them vegans that has to tell everyone they're a vegan, but he's just telling everyone he's a method actor.
Yeah.
And then he came out and says, "Oh no, I exaggerated what I did as the Joker." And everyone's like, "No, you're not. You're fucking lying." He literally come out last week and said, "Oh yeah, I was on set with what my idol Harrison Ford, but I couldn't see him because I was blind because I was method acting." I was literally reading this.
He's like Robert Downey Jr.'s character from Tropic Thunder, but just not funny.
Yeah. Oh my God, Tropic Thunder.
Oh, I'd love to see Tropic Thunder 2 starring Jared Leto.
To be honest, I'd love to see a Tropic Thunder 2.
Yeah, I think everyone. I adore that film. That was nominated for
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise in that film is just
the fact that Rob Downey Jr. was nominated for an Oscar for that film. Just let that sink in. I absolutely love it. But no, yes, the Hugh Hefner biopic officially announced a week after his death. You stayed classy, Brett Ratner. Yeah, that would be very interesting.
I do love the Rush Hour films, though. I'll give Brett Ratner that. I do like Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, do you also enjoy that segment from movie 43? Because he directed a segment in movie 43.
Yeah, but everyone famous was in that, and it was basically...
He did X-Men The Last Stand as well.
Yeah, that's all I can unfortunately think of.
Still better than X-Men Apocalypse in
hindsight. He produced for The Revenant, I guess.
Yeah, has he done something else as well? Let me check. I think he did Red Dragon, didn't he? The Anthony Hopkins prequel to Silence of the Lambs.
Anyway...
he did the Hercules starring The Rock.
Yeah, I did see that. I don't know if that was any good.
I liked that. I liked it. It was all right.
Hercules by The Rock, a terrible film. Moving on to another terrible film, and a very unnecessary one. Maleficent 2 finds a director. I'm not gonna lie, this is just feeding Angelina Jolie's ego, and this film should not exist.
I personally thought that she would direct it, given that she's now apparently a director. But then again, she did get what did she do to that last film she directed? Apparently, she like took a child that had been in war, starved it, or if you go read the research she did to cast someone in her film she directed, it's really fucked up. Maybe that's why they went to direct it. But yeah, the director of Pirates 5, Joaquin Running, which probably leaves him out of the running, but to do Pirate 6. But yeah, Maleficent 2, it's actually going ahead. I thought it was one of them that's going to talk about for years. It would never come out, but no, that's happened.
How much untold story can you tell of the untold story of Maleficent as a character?
I'm not gonna lie though, I hate the story of Maleficent anyway.
I hated that film. I didn't mind the idea of a Maleficent film, and I watched it and I thought it was fucking awful, because I thought it was just going to be like the first Disney film redone, but just calling a different name to make more money. But it was just terrible. I absolutely hated it. Even if it did star Sholto Copley as an evil king, not even he could save it.
It's what made me think, why does I can understand sometimes people making films where the villain is portrayed as a good person in a sequel and stuff like that, but they usually tie it into the universe somehow. Making Maleficent one of the most evil characters seem like a good person completely destroys anything that is seen in like the original Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Maleficent's one of the best Disney villains ever. Like, she shows up.
She is a villain. And she should stay as a villain.
You don't
it's like making Blofeld. It is like making Blofeld from James Bond the focus of a film and making him the good guy.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
You don't need all that back. You don't need it to be like a scorned child or bad upbringing. And that's what I hope they don't do with that Joker spin-off. If
and here's the thing.
With that.
There's one thing that would work for, and I'm surprised they didn't go for it instead, which is Wicked.
They're doing a Wicked
would
film.
have worked.
Yeah, they're doing a Wicked film
for quite a while.
Thank fuck for that, because seriously, that is a way better Maleficent film than Maleficent will ever be.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. Peter Cullen has announced he's working on the Bumblebee film. He is the voice of Optimus Prime. As someone that likes the Michael Bay Transformers films, I'm actually pretty pissed off of this. I was looking forward to Bumblebee being like the only Transformer, and there was going to be no others. It's on record that I don't like the character of Optimus Prime. He is boring. He is the fucking Superman of the Transformers series. But it's kind of cool Peter Cullen's coming back, but I didn't want him working the film. Hopefully it's just like a scene max.
I was going to say that it might be the intro, like, I am Optimus Prime and I am sending this message, blah, 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 and then it's back to a Bumblebee film. But if you're going to have a Transformers film, you can't have Bumblebee be the only one. You're going to have some kind of antagonist force. You're going to have Decepticons in there. You're probably going to have...
Oh, yeah, but I mean, like, I don't want the whole Autobots, like their little AA sessions where Optimus Prime takes the leads and tells them what they're doing for the next couple of weeks.
But for this, for me, with him being announced now, and again, we don't know how much of a part he's going to have in the film, this still stands testament to me that they are going to try and work this into an all-out reboot of the franchise post last night. They've got Bumblebee in there. He's one of the most bankable characters. You get Optimus Prime in there. I guess it's just going to be a matter of time before they start adding more in. Or the sequel, if this is successful, will get more in. And then I think you're going to have your straight-up 80s reboot. You're going to have Fresh Blood directing it. You're going to have... oh, God, what's the name of the wrestler who's going to be
John Cena.
John Cena. You're going to have him. It's going to be a whole new face of the franchise. And I think that's what Transformers needs. I'd like it to go away for a while and not be still tied into the Bay universe. But if this is what we're going to get, I will happily compromise as long as it's still done good and it pays homage more to the G1 cartoon.
John Cena, he'll end up in the Fast and Furious films.
Yeah. Guarantee
you eventually. That'll be his action adult breakthrough stuff. But yeah. Next up, Dennis Villeneuve, who has been linked to Bond, who last week we said Daniel Craig's come out and said he wants him to direct Bond?
Yeah.
Obviously he's been on tour talking Blade Runner, and someone asked him about Bond and he goes, I can't talk about directing that film, but let's say that for me to do a Bond movie would be a deep, deep pleasure.
He almost made it sound sexual there for a second.
I know, and with the way his voice as well, it could sound it too.
Yeah.
Not his voice, I mean his name. Just give him the next Bond film. No one gives a fuck about Cleopatra. Give him Bond. If your Bond wants him and he wants to do it himself, give him that go. And I think as well, I haven't seen Blade Runner yet, but I'm sure Christoph Waltz is coming back. At least he can make him compelling. Like, I would love a Bond film like Prisoners, where like they just drive Bond to like the insanity. That would be a very different James Bond film, actually. I think, right?
But he'd honour the original as well. I know there's loads of Bond films, but he'd honour that original spirit.
Yeah, I would be. I mean, he suits the sort of the Daniel Craig Bond in a complimentary way rather than something else. But
who would you, if you were going to cast a different person as the next villain, who would you go for?
I'd do a new villain. I wouldn't retread the old one.
No, he means an actor.
Oh, okay.
Just a new villain, just a completely new villain.
Well, the thing is, how new can a Bond villain be? Because you make it contextual, or you just go old school with the over-the-top archetype.
Yeah.
See what they want to create and play with. I liked Batista as Mr. Hinks, and I know he's alive still. That was nice to get a new henchman. So I think he'll be back. Christoph Waltz. I want Waltz back to finish off. Let Nolan do the new stuff.
I've got an idea for a villain they could do. You've seen all the Bond films. I don't know if this is done before. Have like an agent who's sort of like Bond's doppelganger, but for like the evil side, like a kind of Arkham Knight thing when they did that. You have someone who's sort of like Bond's equal, but working for the opposite side to push his limits.
I want to say like he was, but he wasn't that. Like Sean Bean in GoldenEye, like he was a 00, but when he turned, he was basically the equal on the other side, helping out.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean, Tate? So like they're similar, but they're not, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's a weird one. It's a big spoiler as well. Sorry.
GoldenEye is basically. The film's so old. He's an ex-agent, and he used to work with Bond. He works with Bond at the start, and then becomes the villain.
There's literally nothing. If you went for a contextual, a medium mogul, that's been done in Tomorrow Never Dies. Like every Bond has every aspect of a villain has been done over the years, and unless they want to go all out, I mean, they can't even do Kim Jong Un because in Die Another Day we had Koreans as villains as well. I just want them to do, if he's going to get it, go out, get Craig out in terms of it's his final film, go out in a bang, do what you want. You're going to have a budget, go play with your stuff, and then give it to Nolan.
Yeah.
Villeneuve will be very, very good. And you know he'd just do one as well. But yeah.
We haven't had an American villain in a while, I guess.
Yeah, but they've already Americanized the franchise so much.
Does that mean we're going to go to Statesman now as well with the Bond universe?
They've done that before because Felix Leiter is the
CIA. Oh, that's true. Yeah,
CIA.
I'd like to see Felix back in the films again. I don't think we've seen him in one since.
He was in Quantum of Solace for that one scene at the bar.
That shows how much I remember.
Yeah. But no, there's so much they can do with Bond. Just go for it. Go for it. When a director gets a Bond film, just go for it. You only get one shot. But yeah. That's Bond for this week, maybe?
Yes, but we still have more Daniel Craig news. So our next bit of news is that Daniel Craig is in talks to play Mr. Sinister in Gambit. Reports are saying that he would also star and feature in other X-Men films following that one. I thought Mr. Sinister would be the villain in
Logan,
in all honesty. Like I think everyone did. When everyone saw Richard E. Grant, people were saying, like, is he going to be playing Mr. Sinister? And that didn't really feature into the film all that much. So they're clearly saving it for the next one. I didn't expect it to be Gambit. I love the X-Men, but I haven't read any of the comics, so I don't know if Mr. Sinister is a villain that's tied more towards Gambit, or if he's just sort of like a big imposing force for all the X-Men. I think that's what he is. But clearly they want the next big bad. Like we've had Magneto for so many films now, who's kind of been is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? They tried with Apocalypse, epically failed in my opinion. Bolivar Trask is a villain where he can only be one for one film. Mr. Sinister can be your next villain that can last however many films they want to do.
And also, Daniel Craig was in I forgot the name of it with Channing Tatum, who is still playing Gambit.
Logan Lucky.
That's the one, yeah.
Also,
so I wonder if those two are the bit.
I wouldn't even know who they put forward as another X-Men villain. Like Magneto is the main one.
They've ruined it, but they've destroyed Apocalypse.
There's some really over the top ones in the comics. You've got like MODOK, who's like this giant yellow Jabba the Hutt thing on like mechanical spider legs. Oh wait, no, MODOK's the head. What's the Mojo is the other X-Men villain? Which you're gonna have a bad guy called Mojo, who's this giant.
Onslaught, Mastermind, Sabretooth.
Right, Sabretooth is Pete.
Like Juggernaut, but they're all sort of like henchman ones, not one for like a big
X-Men. X-Men is just dead to me. To me, that I'm done with that franchise as It's finished with Logan. That's how I want to entitle see the X-Men films.
I'll give Dark Phoenix a chance. I will give that a chance, but Apocalypse has let all the wind out of this franchise for me.
Especially for young cast, which was so promising. That's down to Matthew Vaughn. It's clearly done with Matthew Vaughn. Moving on from X-Men. Moving on from X-Men, because we got a lot to fly through still.
Yeah.
Daisy Ridley is to star in a new film called Daddy-O, and this is one of them really like sort of unique films where it's going to be filmed between January and whenever episode 8. So no one knows how long film, but it's going to be before episode 8 basically comes out. She's currently filming Chaos Walking, and it's an original film. It's quite based on the story of an ordinary woman who gets a cab to her apartment from the airport. The film will center on her discussions with the taxi driver about their past, current relationships, and the aftermath of the talk in the taxi.
I'm not gonna lie, but with a film title named Daddy-O in that description, it sounds like a porno.
Yeah, I know. And
it's gonna be like Fake Taxi or something like that. It'll be like really seedy.
The other thing is,
I can imagine Tom Hardy being that.
The thing is, this film's been done, and it's called Lock, and it was Tom Hardy playing a Welshman in a car for an hour and a half, and it was actually really good.
You've also got the comedy series with Peter Kay as well in the UK called Car Share.
And you've got James Corden popularizing it in America, and it's
carpool karaoke.
Like fair play to I'm just off a tangent with the stars. At least the new Star Wars guys are like going out and doing projects. Like John Boyega set up his production company. He's doing Pacific Rim. He's picking his projects. Oscar Isaac was established enough beforehand. They're going out and doing stuff, and I've got a lot of respect for that. Because you see these franchises where people come through and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
I don't think the Hunger Games guys, except Jennifer Lawrence, the main guys aren't doing much. No. But that's an interesting original project. She'll get people watching it, and if it is that the version that Chris wants, then I can imagine Disney tearing over that contract very quickly. Oh look, Daddy, it's Ray.
God. Oh God.
Oh no, I said Daddy.
It's going to be the next Daddy's Little Monster, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Moving on.
Like Daisy Ridley, wow, stars in Daddy-O.
There you go. Get recording the voice over that one take. Get the teaser trailer out there. Our next bit of news is more Daisy Ridley news. The first picture has been released from her upcoming film Chaos Walking, which also stars Tom Holland, everyone's favorite Spider-Man, I'm sure. It's weird seeing Daisy Ridley with blonde hair, sort of like an onset.
Oh, it looks so
I don't know
wrong.
anything about this film. In all honesty, I don't know if this is based on a true story. It kind of looks like that young thing.
It's like the new young adult franchise they're trying to do. I don't know the details of it. I think it's one of the more modern ones, but I think is Mads Mikkelsen playing the villain in however.
Of course he is.
There's I swear we could on these months ago. Like it's probably towards the start, but apparently it's a famous series of books, and it's about like there's no women in the world. Because they were died of a virus, so only men rule.
A dystopian world where there are no women and all living creatures can hear each other's thoughts in a stream of images, words, and sounds called noise.
Well, there's 43 genders, so I guess she might be one of the other 42.
Also, is that the meaning of life, the number 42 as well? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
That is Hitchhiker's, yeah.
Do you know what's going to be fucking disgusting is that the inevitable Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley partnership across these films where they're going to like get together and you're going to get all these like Spider-Man little kids and all the Star Wars kids like just fuck off, like all of you.
There's
like
be some very weird Tumblr fan art.
Yes, you took the word. Yeah, of course it is the freaks.
But if Tom Holland does any more visits, do you think people will still care about him in this role this time as opposed to Spider-Man? Can I say okay? Moving on.
There we get the context, Chris. That's right. Moving on to the sequel that seem to get a bit of press every single week recently, and they don't come out for another 325 years. Is it something like that? I don't know. Kate Winslet has joined the Avatar sequels in a leading role. In a leading role? What? In a leading role. She will be called Ronal.
Yeah, wasn't it last time we talked about Avatar? You like came up with random names and shit. Yeah,
it's just bollocks. I think James Cameron's really suppressed. I'm so excited for it to bring Ronal to life.
This is actually like the ramblings of a deranged madman, isn't it? He's just got like, it's like that scene from Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he's got like all boards with like string, like, crazy look on his face.
But here's the thing: he never existed.
He's been writing this for 8 years. Like, okay, to him, she's bringing it to life, whatever it's going to be. But to no one else, no one knows what a Ronald is. It sounds awful.
In like 10 years' time, I want to see The Disaster Artist 2, and it's about James Cameron like creating this.
Starring Charlie Day.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love that. God. In terms of Kate Winslet being cast, like obviously it's reuniting.
One people to pull off Tommy Wiseau. Like if it wasn't going to be James Franco, I would have said Charlie Day would have done a brilliant job of it.
Mm. But in terms of like the actual casting, like Kate Winslet is a fantastic actress. It's reunited her and James Cameron again since I think it was '97, wasn't it, when Titanic came out?
It was only one film since.
I think she almost like drowned like 3 times in that film, so it must be a bit. Clearly, they put aside their.
This film, she's going to drown again.
First, he's got his ex-wife back. Now he's got someone attempted to murder to come back.
Yeah,
so who's next?
But we all know that James Cameron doesn't really have a high opinion of women.
Maybe he'll get Gal Gadot in Avatar as an apology too.
Maybe. We don't care. We could say this every single time we get news about it. We don't care about Avatar.
That film's becoming a meme. Jared Leto's complete the Avatar cast.
Yes.
He gets so in character, he flies off to space and doesn't come back while he's getting in role.
Oh, good God.
Right. Are we done with Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5?
It'll
probably be right. It'll be right next year. It'll be like Leonardo like join the cast as like a tree hugger because he's that in real life. He's just playing himself. Jenny Slate, who I haven't heard of and apparently no one has, is in talks to appear in the Venom film. Someone's probably googling her now to find out what she's done.
Yeah.
She'll be playing quote a scientist, nothing more, nothing less. Quote a scientist. And as well,
Parks and Rec.
Was she Jenny Slate?
Yeah.
Who's she playing?
No idea.
Right. Someone take Phase 2. I've been rewatching Parks and Rec actually. That's a sad irony, isn't it?
Wait a sec.
It's got best.
She played Bella.
I know who she is in Parks and Rec. No,
she's Mona Lisa.
She is Jean Ralphio's sister.
Anyway. Venom to get a final rewrite before production, being polished by 50 Shades of Grey writer. Oh, God. So we're going to get a 50 Shades of fucked up Venom film where Venom wants to get with Spidey or something like that.
Because he's like a black symbol, we're calling it 50 Shades of Black.
Wait, what's
are we going to get
comedy with the Wayans brothers?
Are we going to finally... everyone wants to see what Venom's kinks are.
I think 50 Shades of Black was already that comedy film.
50 Shades of Symbiote.
50 Shades of Webbing.
I don't want to say. Well, if the script isn't good, then Tom Hardy's going to jump ship just like how he did with Suicide Squad.
It hasn't even started. It's meant to come out next October, and they're rewriting it now.
As you put in the plan, like script being polished by 50 Shades of Grey writer. Yeah.
Just get that filthy Frank meme. Like, stop.
I really want to like this film.
It's gotta stop.
This has become the most like meme-worthy episode. Like everything's just a joke that's happened this week.
We're being such a down enough. The next news. It's amazing.
The next joke is Lucy 2 being moved ahead, but at the same time, conflicting reports of it being not moving ahead at all and not ever existing in Luc Besson's head. So what's happening?
Luc Besson, after some research, Luc Besson has said he's written a script for Lucy 2, and investors have just seen how well Valerian's done and have probably told him to fuck off. Just to think like how bad his career's gone. Like,
I think the point, the fact of the matter was that they called the first film Lucy, and that didn't market it well. Who wants to go see a film that's called Lucy? I'd rather see a film that's called like...
Yeah, but it has Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I was going to say it was the start.
It was awful. She turned into a USB at the end. It was honestly...
USB.
Like, what's the sequel going to be? Like, she becomes USB 3.0?
No, she's just going to turn into like a hard drive.
In the cloud. It'll be like Skynet. It'll be all what was the one.
I'd take her in a Terminator film, Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah,
she could probably terminate someone.
Hopefully, she wouldn't be like one of like the TX was it from Terminator 3.
The one that
they don't do that whole thing again.
What with the boobs off the billboard? That
stuff. Yeah.
That's just James Cameron for you, though, isn't it?
Well, he didn't do 3, to be fair. But
Of course he didn't. Well, that shows how much we care about Terminator 3.
Nope.
I like Terminator 3.
Next up, Disney to distribute Glass, the Shyamalan new film. Disney are distributing a film that's not going to cost 200 million. Madness.
But
A
Glass
live
is
action.
Here's the thing. We're in a Shyamalama Renaissance, or whatever they're calling it, an M. Night Renaissance. With it starting all off with The Visit, which I actually rewatched recently, and it holds up. It is a very good horror thriller film. My stomach still sinks in that one scene, which I'm not going to spoil for everyone. After that, we have Split, which I still haven't seen, but I would like to see, and apparently it's very, very good. So I think he's taken on the criticisms of The Last Airbender, spent 4 years hermiting away, and is going to release these films in a slow string, and it's starting to work. I think studios are starting to get a bit more confidence back in him with the Shyamalan that we saw with The Sixth Sense and the original Unbreakable.
The next Spielberg Shyamalan, the famous front page.
Shyamalan. Maybe. I mean, maybe not to the same extent, but he'll be a decent director. And I think that's what really counts. And his name still does carry some weight, especially with his recent run of good films.
I love how they took his name. Did you notice that, like, in the last few films he's done anyway, they take his name off the trailers? It used to be, they used to put that name everywhere, and then they've since removed that now. Maybe
from the mind of M. Night Shyamalan. Now it's just like from the person who brought you The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
And that's all they write.
It's a pretty long way to spell as well in this day and age of autocorrect.
Yeah,
it's 140 characters on Twitter, and you lose most of it to him.
For me, it's strange that Disney are picking this up, because to me, Split was not the kind of movie that Disney would market or put out there.
But remember, Glass is technically a superhero film.
Yeah, it's tight. Yeah, that's right.
I think they'll release it under like a banner that's Disney, but not Disney. Like, it's not going to have the Disney castle on the front. It's probably just going to be them saying, right, we'll stick the money out. We'll get a big chunk of this. We'll make sure it's in these cinemas. We'll blah, 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 blah. I still haven't seen Split or Unbreakable.
Same.
And I've always wanted to see Unbreakable, and I'm just now going to wait for that day where I can just do the trilogy. Do 2 of them, go to cinema. That would be a pretty intense 3 film, actually. But no, this is a bit interesting because it started filming now as well. But that film has potential, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to it as well.
Yeah.
And then next up, we're almost done, don't worry. We have a synopsis for Pacific Rim 2, which is far too long. It's basically, you can get 3 paragraphs down into one line, which is giant monsters versus giant robots, starring Finn from The Force Awakens. The trailer's coming up this weekend. That's the main thing as well. It's New York Comic Con. There's a couple of things happening. I guess it's more TV than anything, but it's not big enough for us to do a spin-off episode. But right now we have confirmed a Pacific Rim 2 trailer coming this weekend and a Justice League trailer coming Sunday. That's probably when Pacific Rim 2 will join a Warner Bros. Panel. Justice League in major anticipation for the world-class film. From the visionary director Zack Snyder comes several abysmal posters with a black background, a shit logo at the top, and a superhero in the middle.
See, I personally love these posters. The Batman one for me.
You love them all.
It looked like he had sort of like the blue cape, which is like going back to like the old school style of the comics, which I really liked. And it's just a way that shows off the superheroes a whole lot more. I actually really like the posters. I'm looking forward to the trailer on Sunday as well. I'm seeing 2 films that day, so I don't know if I can get a reaction out that day, but there will be a reaction, and yeah, it's going to be one to look forward to.
Posters now.
I'm just going to continue because Chris did something.
I want to point. No, I'm going for the poster at the moment. So Batman is doing the bowling scene from The Great Lebowski. Wonder Woman's doing her no kind of thing. We've got a very, very, very weird looking Aquaman who looks high as fuck. We got Cyborg dabbing.
Look at him.
He's just getting in character, man. Don't you see from the visionary director Zack Snyder?
I'm pretty sure Cyborg is midway through a dab. That's all I can see. And then the Flash, that isn't even a costume. That just looks like bits of metal stuck to his skin.
Well, this is a Flash for the 2017 age. I mean, I know we've got the TV show on at the minute, which, you know, has a more sort of regular looking costume. But you know, we've got to go with that armored look. We've got to go with that built-up armor look. Look at Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy. They're just going off that.
Hey, Batman was based in real life. You know, super speed.
Well, this is a more grounded universe. This is
hold on. I'm looking at the Aquaman poster. Is that even how you hold a trident or a spear?
He is.
I don't think so.
He is an Atlantean, though, so maybe they have a different way of doing it.
I don't think that's very effective or efficient.
We'll have to wait to the movie. It looks like, remember that bit in the trailer where he like surfs down on a parademon and crashes through a skyscraper and then like dusts out?
He does the hair flick.
Yeah.
He's got that L'Oreal look going with him.
Yeah.
Are you hairist now, Tate? Do you not see the visionary aesthetics?
I want
of
to
the
post
flick
in
of
the
hair?
comments.
I just want to
what
see
shampoo you use.
I just want to see the entirety of the Justice League, but all bald.
The Bald League.
I want to see a bald Wonder Woman and a
It
bald
means
Batman.
we get Jesse Eisenberg back in the film, but unfortunately he's not going to be in Justice League.
They
now.
cut him, didn't they? They cut the scenes.
Yeah.
Can we get a bald Jared Leto to play the Joker? It's just the damage, and then it's just like a white patch above it.
He can get some more.
I'm really surprised they didn't.
Oh,
They could have gone with something very interesting, painting the Joker as a white supremacist, but they didn't go for it.
It's going to be like American History X.
what about the next Joker film? He gets like made president, and he starts throwing paper towels at dying people in the streets. Because that's something the Joker would do, right? He'd throw paper towels at people that are starving and dying in the streets, and say they've took a massive chunk out of his budget. But in the background, he's playing golf. Does that not sound like Jack Nicholson's Joker?
He's going to be like on a giant cake podium as well.
It's probably that of the NRA, like, you fund me more. That's getting way too contentious, actually.
Okay, let's move on to the box office breakdown.
George. Box office breakdown where we talk about the money films are made. There was almost a three-way tie for number one. Kingsman retained with 16.935 mil. It, still around, came at number two, 16.902 mil. So 350 grand separated one and two. And American Made debuted with 16.776. I've never seen something that close in a long time. Literally 200, like 350k. It's mental. Lego Ninjago, which died last week, it's even crushed again. It got 11 mil week two.
Flatliners 6.5.
Yeah, and Flatliners. Well, I've already done the dead thing for this week, haven't I? But yes, no one watched that amazing reboot by Sony. But this weekend's all about Blade Runner. They're expecting a debut of 55 million for its opening weekend, with worldwide expected to get over 100 mil. Comparisons are coming into Dunkirk in that it's an older audience that are going to be watching and not younger, and they're also mentioning it's got similar box office projections to the sort of 30-year gap sequel/prequel. So like Mad Max Fury Road, that took 100 mil worldwide. Tron Legacy got a 45 mil opening weekend when that came out. Prometheus, although a prequel, that had similar box office numbers. Mm-hmm. So they're sort of thinking Blade Runner will be similar to all this, probably better than all of them. Except I can't wait to watch it. Sunday.
I saw Blade Runner 2049 earlier today, and the rest of the audience, there was a few sort of people my age, and I'm talking about the age of the audience, but a lot of them were old. Like, you could tell they were fans of the original, and they were coming along to this one. As I said, I don't know if it's going to draw much of a new crowd in, maybe word of mouth, but it is quite a hard-going film. Like the first movie, it is a very slow burn. But we'll talk more about it Sunday once we've all seen it.
I think Ryan Gosling is going to be the draw for the younger people, like the teenage girls that think they're going to watch something else, and it's actually Ryan Gosling.
It'll be Jared Leto with his damage tattoo across his forehead.
Well, we've got a tattoo on his forehead. It's like replicant.
I can only make so many, or whatever he says in the trailer.
Right, gentlemen, that has been today's episode of the news. It's literally been like a meme week. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Jared Leto quotes to be said on Sunday if we're just going to hype up our Beta and 24 even more. I'm going to do the usual stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment. As Tate would say, hit the bell to get notifications every time we go live or upload a video. I think, may have a Battle of the Brackets coming next Wednesday. We need to get confirmation. That will be on something we can announce at a later date when we've got a nicer title for it. But we've got lots of coming up on the channel. We're slowly approaching Oscar-ish season, and we have new show ideas, which are going to be very fun when we get around to coming out with them. So keep an eye on that. But this has been another episode of Cinema Savvy News, and we will be back next Thursday, where hopefully we have a Star Wars trailer to talk about. Fucking release it now, bastards. Right, goodbye.